What is up? In this video, I am going to go over who you should be hiring first in your coaching business and how to get world-class, badass team members. So if you're at the stage right now where you've got a few clients, you absolutely love them, and you're in a space where you're an action taker, you've got a big vision, you want to change lives, you're not the type of person who's like, oh, you know, I just kind of want to make 3 to 5K a month and then be done. Like, you actually want to scale this thing and really reach a lot of lives. This is going to be a perfect video for you. So by the end of this video, you should have a real clear purpose on who you should hire first and how to get world-class, badass team members. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Luke Anning. I help relationship coaches scale to 10 to 20K a month in 60 days. I'm ADHD as it gets. And just for context, I travel a hell of a lot. Like, I'm currently in Brazil. But in 2022, when I was traveling in Iceland, I made 20K in that month in sales in my coaching business, whilst only working around 23 hours in the week. So yeah, that was awesome. Like, I literally just worked like 2 hours a day, and then I had a little bit of time where I just batched a load of content, and that was it. And then with the hiring process, I've gone over 300 hiring applications, learned from 7, 8, 9-figure mentors on how to scale, and we're sending it this year for 100K a month this year, and to get 1,000 people off the streets. That's part of my big mission, is eradicating world homelessness. So yeah, we're gonna come in and crush it today. So for context of what we're gonna go over today, really wanted you guys to not just have to like go over another video on how to hire. Like, I wanted to give you guys like a real critical game plan to actually be able to do this and actually give you guys real value. So I've actually got 17 hiring mistakes to avoid that I have made, or I've seen other people make, and I want you to avoid learning the hard way like I have done, who you should hire first, and how I get world-class, badass team members. And this is badass business. You're going to see it sprinkled all over because we just branded. So I'm like, yay, we've got new branding. 3 years into the business, like, we finally got our branding sorted. Like, at the end of the day, like, it's not necessary to hit 6 figures. So anyhow, we're going to go in and we're going to crush it. So 17 mistakes for you guys to avoid. The first one is not reinvesting back into your business. Like, I see this all the problems. Like, people will just think that, okay, I just need to work harder for my business because I can't afford to hire. So I'm just going to smash it myself, and then I'll get to a point where I hire. But you need to reinvest back into your business. If you are the only one building your business, you're not building a business. You're just building a freelancing job. So get that in your head. Second thing is being unclear on what you need. Some people will just hire things because they're like, you know, I'm just really busy right now, I should probably hire somebody. But if you don't know what you need, like, it's not going to make sense that you hire. So you need to know what you need. Third thing is not having a base level of skill in that thing before hiring. I see this all the time, particularly with something like appointment setting, right? Setting more calls for your business, getting in the DMs. People will hire out somebody else to do this without actually knowing how to do it. So then, guess what happens? The person implements maybe as 80% as good as they are, and if they're not very good at it, then they're not going to do very well. Like, I had a friend who was having a sales problem, and we fixed this one thing, and it took him from 15 to 30K in 1 month. Like, I fixed this one thing on a phone call with him. It was like 1 hour. It was so easy. But he was like, oh, dude, I think I need to get a closer. I think I need to get a high ticket closer. And I was like, why do you think that? He was like, oh, I'm struggling to close. No, if you're struggling to close, why would it make sense you hire somebody else to do it? Like, you need to have a skill set in order to teach somebody a skill set, right? So not having a base level of skill in that thing before hiring. And then, like, literally you fix that thing and his closing was back up to like 30%. So solid. 4, thinking people don't need management. Let's be real here. How many times do you say that you're going to do something and you don't do it? But if you told somebody else that you're going to do it, you have a level of accountability. Same thing, right? Yes, the way that I'm going to teach you is going to get you higher level people that do take more responsibility, but you still need to manage people. Even though my personal assistant is an absolute killer, I still need to hold her accountable to doing things and make sure that we have a proper project management system in in place for that. 5, avoiding training. Can you imagine going to a new job and there not being any training? Yes, I get it. You're maybe a startup, or you are a startup if you're watching this, but you can't avoid training. You need to help the person out. The same as you help your coaching clients out. Imagine going to your coaching clients and being like, okay, cool, let's get started, but not giving them any action steps. They're not going to get any results. It's the same for your people. You can't just expect not to train people. 6, not being patient. What you need to know is that when you hire really well for a role, you often did a lot of the things right. You qualified that role, you made some changes, but you need to give it time. You can't expect somebody to get results straight away. And having short-term based thinking, whether you're investing into a program, whether you're investing into a hire, is one of the worst things that you can do. You need to start thinking long-term. Like for me, I know if I keep implementing at the rate that I'm implementing, I'm going to be a millionaire by the time I'm 30. There's no doubt. But I need to be patient with that. I can't rush the process of learning. Like, have you ever tried rushing learning? You just get overwhelmed. So be patient. 7, only taking one interview. Oh my gosh, I made this mistake so much. So if you just interview one person, you may even get in contact with somebody you think is the best fit in the world. But imagine if you had 10 people like that. It's going to make your decision a little harder, but it means that you're going to be able to cancel out which person you think is good and which person's not. If you only take one interview, one, you might feel disappointed. You're like, oh gosh, like this is the only option I have. Oh well, we'll just take them on, which is the complete wrong attitude to take. And 2, you're not going to get the level of talent that you want to have in order to scale your business. 8, expecting them to be better than you, particularly without any guidance. Like, I get it. You're going to get somebody who's a high level role. Like, our assistant has a social media following of 60,000 followers. Like, she's a killer. She knows what she's doing. But without any guidance on my business and the way I do things, then she's just going to do things her way, which is cool. But you want to actually guide somebody. Kind of comes back to point 4 and point 5. Number 8, thinking you're not ready. This I see all the time. I remember having a conversation with a client who desperately in need of an appointment setter. She had a flood of leads, like talking to so many people. She was like, oh, I can't hire this yet because I'm not booking enough calls. And I was like, you are booking calls. So you've learned the skill set. You've had a base level of skill. Now let's get somebody in that can actually spend more time than you doing the thing. Like, your appointment setter is going to be able to spend 5, 6, 7, 8 hours doing the thing. You can only spend 2 hours a day right now doing this thing. So it kind of counteracts some other things that I say, but you've got to also get over the hump of thinking that you're not ready to hire. There is definitely something that you can hire for right now in your business. 10, hiring straight for sales and marketing. It does kind of come back to the point that I mentioned about my friend that was hiring for sales when actually it was his sales skill set. But if your skill set is not there for marketing, as in you haven't got your messaging down, you don't have a clear offer, you don't have a system, which we're going to come to later, it's dumb hiring for it. You need to have your sales and marketing process dialed in. 11, hiring an agency. I hate hiring agencies. Why? Because they're going to pay somebody based on their level of training. Their training may be good, but it's not as direct feedback as you can create for your members. Also, I found this out. This was horrible. One of my first assistants, she was my second hire ever. She was in a marketing role. She came on as a communications expert, and she was in a sales revenue generating role. And I found out that she hadn't been paid for 8 weeks by the agency. So I was paying the agency, but they weren't paying her. I was like, hell no. We're taking you out of this, and I'm just going to have you on as a freelancer, because that's not on. I pay people on time, and I don't want an agency screwing up my development with someone because they don't have their shit together and they're not up to my standards. 12, having an ego. Oh my gosh, this is the reason for this video. So I had a bit of an ego, and it comes back to the marketing, but I wanted my assistant to do some Instagram stories, but I kept putting it off for ages and ages and ages and ages, saying like, oh, she's not ready, she's not doing this thing, when all she needed to do was write like 2 questions and a question mark. And I set her the challenge of doing the thing. She did the thing, and then I got 4 times the amount of inbound that I usually get on my own story sales. And I was like, okay, cool. So sometimes it's good to challenge your people and say, like, you know what? I may be really good at this thing, but if I'm really good at this thing, it means that I can actually train for it. I don't need to keep doing it. So there you go again. 13, not playing big or having a big mission. Guys, the reason why you're not where you're at is because your vision's too small. I want you to start playing bigger. Think about the revenue goal that you want over this next year, and then think, what would it be like if I 10x that? What would it be like if I 10x that? You're probably thinking, oh, that'll be a lot of work. Yeah, we're going to bring in more people and we're going to change more lives. That's what we're going to do. 14, not having a scalable service. So if you have bits and pieces freaking everywhere, you have 6 different offers, you're trying 5 different marketing strategies, you don't have a dialed in sales process, it's going to make it really hard to bring somebody in because they're just going to add to your mess unless they're a super systems orientated person. So you need to have a scalable service, which I will show you about a little bit later. 15, hiring the first person who DMs you. So I'm going to just keep 16. 15, hiring the first person who DMs you. You probably have people in your inbox saying, hey, I can do your copywriting for you. Hey, I can scale your business for you. Hey, I can do this. But like, no offense, but like, I don't want a 17-year-old with no experience to come and work in my business. Unless I was doing an internship or unless they had previous experience. Because I want somebody who's going to be world-class and badass. Like some people, like I've had mentors be like, oh yeah, just put an Instagram story up. I'm like, no, I don't want that. I want to go through a ton of applications and get the best person possible. That is how you scale a business, is bringing in A-class people to work with you. Like literally read anything about Richard Branson. Just says get great talent and then give them the tools that they need in order to perform to the best of their levels of ability. So next bit, being a cheap fuck. If you go out and you try and hire like a fucking $4 an hour person off of Fiverr, yeah, you might get somebody who's half decent, but they're working for $4 an hour. I pay above industry standard for my personal assistant because I want her to stay and because I know that if I pay her more, she's going to perform better. Same as if I get paid more, I perform better. I know you think, oh, it shouldn't be like that, but it is. Be real. If you had a student pay you $100 a month versus 10 grand a month, who are you going to implement more time on? Who are you going to work harder with? 10 grand a month. 17, last bit, is not having a system that you run your business from. I've mentioned this before, but not having a system that you run your business from will make your whole process really, really challenging. Now I'm going to bring up my system just so that you can understand how this might look for you. And if you want to copy the Badass Growth Funnel, you can. So for example, we have a lead generation mechanism up here in blue. So we have ads, fire content, YouTube, and the second thing that we have is then our lead nurturing process. So we have retargeting ads, we have a VSL, which is like the main video on my page. You can go and watch that if you want. And content, Instagram and YouTube, like this. We then have call to actions, and then we have a conversation call. Offer could be anywhere from like 2 to 20K. Like ours personally isn't, but this is an example for our clients. We have our onboarding, then we have a course, a community, coaching calls, and we get results. And then the money that we get from results and the money that we get from the people, we reinvest that cash back into ads and we let the system do its thing. If you're not running your business like a machine and just super emotional, it's honestly going to keep you broke, stuck, and super unhappy. So you need to run it like a business. You need to have a system in place if you're going to get a high level assistant in. Now you're probably going to guess what type of person that we should have in first. Like we've literally got the 3 sort of first hires here, but I want to just assure you, like when you have a system, it makes it so much easier to scale. Like this is why my clients get results like this. This is why Rita quit her job like literally 2 days into the program. Farah was able to sign a 20K contract. We also have her results, which we filmed the other day. In just a few months, she's gone from 0 to 7.7K per month. Sonia, £2,100 today. And then this is my Stripe bank account when everyone was saying December was a hard month, and we had a record month because we had a system dialed in and other people don't. So if you're scaling, this might be what it looks like in terms of knowing, okay, so where am I at? And this is a good question for you to help you scale, which is, what's the thing that you could be doing that gets your clients faster, better, easier results than anyone else in the industry? That could be investing into a coach, could be investing into me, right? Like, I'm not fast, like you can do that if you want. But if you're starting off, you're likely one-to-one, you're blasting it might be 0, it might even arguably be 0 to 20K a month doing one-to-one if you're purely just stacked with one-to-one calls all week, every week. But I'm just showing you kind of what it looks like for our clients so that they can actually have time back for them. Then the next step that you might have in order to get towards hiring might be you have one-to-one and a group community, 5 to 15 or 5 to 30K a month. And then after that, your service should look a little bit like one-to-one onboarding, group calls, community, course, 10 to 100K a month. That way you've got more time back, clients are getting faster, better, easier results, and you're at a place where you're able to hire people. So who do you get first? You need to look at your time. Where are you doing non-return on investment activities? So that could look like emails, admin. For me, like the Instagram stories are a return on investment activity, but clearly my assistant, Jaffney, she's gonna love, gets better results than me, so I'm gonna let her do it. 2, for me, I wanted to hire an editor or an admin assistant. I knew that this was the best thing for me because I was spending 30 minutes to an hour. Like when I first did reels, it took me 4 hours to do one reel. It's all a journey. So I wanted a badass social media assistant, and that's what I genuinely named the role. That's what the role is that she came in as a badass social media assistant. The next person that you would hire is a setter, likely, once you have the skill set, but that is for another video. But anyhow, here's the key things that you want to look at. What are your business's goals? What is the role that I need for this? And then what are the characteristics that would make someone succeed here? And the reason for these questions is you need to have an idea of where your business is going. You are oftentimes also giving your team members a purpose. It's a different level of responsibility. It's not just about you, and it's not just about your clients anymore. It's about fueling your team. So you need to have clarity on what the goals are. Then you need to know what the role is that you need to fulfill that, which you want to look at the previous questions that I just gave you. Scroll back and replay that if you need to. And then what are the characteristics that would make someone succeed here? So for me, I know that not only for my clients, but for my assistant, we need somebody that's detail orientated. We need somebody that's community orientated. I need somebody that's an action taker. I can't have somebody that's a victim mindset that doesn't take responsibility. The same as for my clients. Like if you're somebody that can't take responsibility for your business, like please don't book a call ever with me. Like I hope it's the same for you as well. Like I know you hate having somebody that blames everything else on everyone else because it doesn't get you anywhere. So these are kind of green flags, you could call it, of characteristics that I would want to work with. And the same as what can I then do to ensure that they succeed? So what can I do to help build the system? What can I do to make sure that I've got the training? What can I do to make sure that they're going to win when they come into my environment? So now that we've got the characteristics down, I'm sure you've taken a ton of notes, is how I get world-class, badass team members. This is going to go against so many other people in the industry. So many people in the industry are like, oh yeah, just throw up an Instagram story and get the first person because they know your business. And I'm like, yeah, but you can teach somebody your business. Doesn't take that long. But what you can't do is teach high-class talent. You can't teach somebody to be a badass, but you can. But I want to take somebody from an 8 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10. I don't want to take somebody who's a 2 out of 10 to a 5 out of 10. So here's how I would do it. I want to create a landing page, I use Go High Level. I have an affiliate link down below. That's not the point of this video. Like, if you use it, you use it. If you don't, you don't. On top of that, I then create a document outlining the role, the expectations, the mission, and that could include the pay. I prefer to do that on the second interview. Then I film a Loom video of me breaking down the role. So I literally just film a Loom video of me breaking down the role. 4, I create a hiring form, so like an application form with like name, email, why did you apply to this role, what are the skill sets that you have, give me examples of when you've done this thing and other things, give me an example of accolades and achievements that you've had. Those are some things that you might look for. And then I'm going to send that application to job roles, to job postings, to Upwork, to Fiverr. When I did this, I joined like, I think it was around 12 Facebook groups, and that was over like 80,000 possible candidates. And then I posted a job posting with the application link down below. Or I said like, hey, reply me if you want me to send you this. And then I got my other assistant to send the application out to everyone. But if you don't have that yet, you may send that to everyone. It takes a little time, but it means that you're going to get a huge flood of data and people to be able to hire from. Then you can also ask your network. Like, I'm in a few really big WhatsApp groups. I'm in a WhatsApp group for entrepreneurs in Medellin. If you want that link, just DM me on Instagram. Like, I'll literally send it to you, no stress. I'm in one for Rio. I was in one for London. I was in one for Bristol. And it's key. Like, you want to ask your network. Your network might have some really good recommendations for your role, or past people that they've worked with. Then once you've siphoned through the applications, decide on your top 10 applications and then schedule interviews. And I use Calendly for that. It's just saved me a ton of time. And yeah, and then when you have the hiring interview itself, you're then gonna ask some questions. Typically I ask questions that are related to what their experience is like, why do they think they're a good fit. I go back over their role, and then I might even give like a little context. So for this editor, for an editing role, I might say something like, hey, if I was to give you 10 videos to edit, what would be your process of organizing and project managing those edits so that we can have them scheduled and ready in the next 5 days? And then I'm gonna know what their organization's like, since that's a good skill set to have for an editor and an admin assistant. So then once I've decided on that, I'm gonna then bring them on board. I'm gonna give them an agreement, and then we're gonna get started. And that's it. And then we're gonna start training from there. But yeah, with that said, I know we just covered a ton. So just to kind of summarize things, the key mistakes that you can make when having a business is not reinvesting back into your business, being unclear on what you need, not having a base level of skill in the thing before hiring, thinking people don't need management, avoiding training, not being patient, only taking one interview, expecting them to be better than you without any guidance, thinking you're not ready, hiring for sales and marketing off the get-go, hiring an agency, having an ego, not playing big, not having a scalable service, hiring the first person who DMs you, being a cheap fuck, not having a system that you run your business from. And you need a system, just use mine, Badass Growth Funnel. We don't need to go over the results again. Making sure that you've got a scalable service, a little bit like this bit, where you have a progression of how you're developing your client delivery, and then making sure that you know where are you doing the non-ROI activities, and hiring then an editor / admin assistant. In my case, a badass assistant. So yeah, those are the goals, etc. And that is the hiring funnel. So I hope you took a ton of value from this. I really loved doing this. It was a really fun video. I would absolutely love your feedback if you would love me to do something like this again. This is a new style of thing that I was trying, and I genuinely would love your feedback, and if I should do this again. So let me know down below. And last thing if you want to do this with me at your helm, mentoring, guiding you, you're at a place where you're ready to scale, so you're making at least 4 to 5K a month, and you've got some cash behind you, you're ready to push go on ads so that you can make your system really take off, or you want to just learn a little bit more about the system again, and you're any of the green flags that I mentioned earlier, so you're an action taker, you're detail orientated, and you really want to take the next level without having an ego that you could do it by yourself, then book in a call down below. We'll just map out a roadmap for you. We'll work out where you're at, what you need, and then we'll create a custom solution to what you are most needing, since everything that we do is all customizable on what is the best fit for the client. And then we can get you some world-class, badass team members, and we can get your hiring funnel set up, get you some team members, get them implementing, and get you a ton of time back so that you can get time, freedom, etc. So again, please only book down below if you're serious, and if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I'm serious, if you haven't subscribed, go and subscribe so you can see more content like this, and I will see you